Right, so Jace, we speak all the time anyway, and have done for the last few years. But I've been really excited to get the opportunity to chat to you in this context, and to ask you some pretty bold questions like, how do you get away with talking the way that you do on socials and ads, etc., and growing a really successful business on the other side? So how do you get away with saying the things that you do?
I'm not sure. Probably something I shouldn't get away with, but I suppose, like, honestly, probably back when I joined first, one of the first things that you kind of said was, look, we have obviously templates, we have, you know, scripts and ideas that we're working with, but keep your own voice, and that really stuck with me. Because in previous mentorships, I think I was trying to almost be changed a little bit and fit in, and like the best thing I've done is not fit in, you know.
Yeah.
Try be the opposite of every other coach, take the piss out of these spice boys or fifluencers as they call them. And the truth is, I don't know how other coaches haven't copped on, but like 90% of people hate them, and then they wonder why they don't have clients. You know, they're not relatable. So I just try to keep it relatable. Like, I swear I use bad language. You either love me or hate me, but the people that love me really love me because they're like, oh, this guy's just normal. Like on calls, sales calls, time and time again, I get that. Look, I'm here because I actually think you're normal.
Yeah, I love that. But one thing, I mean, tell me if you agree. This is my thoughts, that people shouldn't do that unless this is their personality, and
Yeah.
it's the type of thing that they would say around friends and otherwise. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody is somebody who does not swear, for instance, then don't like try and become Jason Kearns.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think it has to be. I think you have to be yourself. You know, whoever you are. Like, probably a really good example of it is Sean Casey, who's grown a obviously very massive following, successful business, just being himself. And he's kind of just very monotone and boring, but that's who he is, and that's what's worked for him. Like, if he came out and tried to be really brash and loud and swearing all the time, it's just not really him.
Yeah.
You know. And like, where if I went and tried to copy his style because he was successful, I don't think that would work for me.
Yeah.
You know, so I think you have to be true to who you actually are, and that is how I act. You know, day to day when we're just chatting after events and having dinner or in the bar or whatever. It's like, well, I like to think anyway. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
It's not any different to what I'm doing on content.
And what have you seen, right? Because if other mentorships in the past were trying to almost get you to tone down or to talk in a certain way or communicate things in a certain way, what have you seen in terms of how it's affected lead flow, how it's affected percentage of people that you speak to that actually become clients? Like, can you speak to that a bit?
As in now versus then.
Yeah, but not in the case of like trying to make a comparison, but with you working with me, this is more about you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, this is you.
I suppose one thing that really stood out to me in a previous mentorship, right at the start when I was like quite new to this, was obviously still balancing a job at the time and trying to get this off the ground, was there was somebody done a call review for me on a sales call, and one thing I had said at the start of the sales call was like just building a bit of trust with the guy, and we were kind of just joking about like the hustle and stuff, and you know, it's just like talking about some of the things I've done over the years. And the guy reviewing it, and then he said, like, I don't know what I talk about that, like, it's a bit unprofessional. But like, the guy was on the call because I was a bit unprofessional, you know, because he could relate to it.
Yeah.
He could relate to some of the things that I've done in the past, the hustle, the different things that I tried, you know. Like, even going right back to school, I was always an entrepreneur. Like, shouldn't have been doing it, but I was selling fireworks when I was in secondary school, you know. But people relate to that kind of stuff.
It literally couldn't have been like anything else, could it? Like,
yeah, but like
fireworks.
yeah,
right?
obviously they're illegal in Ireland. Shouldn't have been doing it, but that was me channeling my entrepreneurial energy back then. And it was, I suppose, for many years it was tried to be, I suppose, talked down me a little bit. Follow this path. I went down the route of becoming a teacher and that, but I was always destined to be doing something like I'm doing now, and being more relatable and just being myself and talking about things that I probably shouldn't talk about has actually attracted more clients than I ever could imagine.
Yeah.
And built a business like greater than I ever could imagine.
And what do you find in terms of the type of people coming through, and like, I'm guessing much more lead flow, easier to get them to become a client. Do you feel like they're more connected to you in the process because the relatability on the front end as well?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, if you come into my program, one of the first things you do is, like, we work a lot on the mindset side of things, but how I deliver my mindset, it's supposed to be very different than listening to Tony Robbins or someone, because I'm swearing straight away in it, you know, but people relate to that. If I was doing one thing on social media, my reels, and then they come in and the program is like very professional and there's no bad language stuff in it, they would probably be a little bit disappointed. You know, like, my program's absolutely world class, but it's made in my style.
Yeah.
The trainings involve cursing. Parents probably shouldn't be watching it around their kids.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how it is. But I think they would be disappointed if it wasn't. Because that's what they've bought into.
Yeah. That is absolutely great. And so when they're watching training videos and things like that, it's shot in the same sort of style as like the content that you create?
Yeah, 100%. Like, in terms of even my live calls and stuff, you know, I treat it in the very same way that we're sitting down having a conversation over coffee. There's laughs, there's swearing, there's a bit of banter, you know, talk about random things. Same in kind of like in some of the examples that, like, even in one of the exercise videos, like, really simple example, but like doing the barbell hip thrust, like, one of the things I say in the videos is like, look, it's like, imagine you're actually giving her the extra inch. You're trying to tuck up that pelvis. Like, that is not what most coaches will put in their exercise videos. But clients get a great fucking laugh out of it. And they're like, I know what you mean now. I know exactly what you mean now.
I know what you mean now, yeah. No, absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, that's the kind of stuff, but that's just how I am. So I coach like that as well.
Yeah, that's class. And a lot of people would also say, I get this on calls all the time, people come to me and they're like, they're mindset coaches, and sometimes they're mindset and physical fitness like yourself, but they'll say to me, but obviously it's so hard to sell mindset, it's so hard to sell mindset, it's so hard to sell mindset. They say it to me all the time before getting started, whereas with you personally, I mean, you've led with that. That's like the main thing you lead with, and you don't have any problem with lead flow. So, can you talk to like what you meet in terms of resistance and the type of people coming through when you're talking about mindset on a daily basis? Yeah,
well, like, I suppose I lead with the whole thing of, like, I think the whole fitness industry has it wrong. Everyone's like, you know, just go exercise and everything will be okay. But it's not true. You know, like, there's hundreds, thousands of athletes, professional athletes, like, take their own lives every year. Like, being in shape's not enough. It has to start with your head first. And if you fix your head first, it won't be hard to stay in shape. Like, because it shouldn't be hard to stay in shape. And if it is hard, if it is a chore, which is what most coaches do, like, they do a 6-week shred or whatever, and it is hard. It's, you know, it's a strict thing. You're cutting out things. You're following a meal plan. You're training X amount of times. You have to hit your steps. You have to be on a Stairmaster. You know, it just doesn't work around real life. Whereas if you actually fix your head first, like, you should not need a plan to stay in shape. It should just be a way of life. You know, and with all due respect to other mindset coaches, but most mindset coaches come across like pricks. You know, they're airy-fairy, they're talking about stuff people can't relate to, and most people are just like, what is that lad on about? I don't talk a huge amount about, like, meditation and journaling and, you know, go into depth on that in my content. Like, I talk about it and the benefits, but then people are kind of like just buying in because they're seeing the results, they're seeing what people are saying, sharing, they're seeing, I've now not drank in over 2 years, they're like kind of curious, well, look, I wonder how this guy's done that. And then we give them that stuff inside, but it's done in a way that's not quite as airy-fairy. And I think if I went straight at them with all that up front, you know, in my content, on a sales call, whatever, they'd run a mile. Yeah,
your people, if you were doing like, well, I'm going to put out like a weekly meditation as like a piece of content moving forward from here, it would probably be met with a lot of resistance versus, hey, have you got a drinking problem, you know, drug problem, you have like the wheel of life thing that you do, so you've got like many different parts that they could relate to, so that's got to be, well, I mean, you tell me, like, what are they mainly coming to you for?
A lot now are coming for, like, the relationship with alcohol and drugs, the relationship with food then as well. I kind of treat it a lot like, So a lot of my clients as well they're neurodiverse. They have ADHD. I am like an ADHD certified coach now myself as well. I work with a lot of people because I suppose like attracts like, and I was naturally just attracting those type of people. They all kind of have a crutch where they're seeking dopamine. That could be food, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs. But for me, the approach is the same. It's not really about restriction, it's about creating a life that doesn't need these things. And it's also kind of impossible to say what that is in content because it's a bit different for everyone. You know, yeah, meditation is really important. Like I say, everyone should meditate 10 minutes a day. If you don't have time, probably should be fucking doing 20. You know, that's how important it is. But breath work works a little bit better for some people.
Yeah.
You know, ice baths are a massive part of my life. Most people, when they get into it, it becomes part of their life too. The odd person, it's not for them. You know, but that's cool. There's something else that's for them. I really encourage people to get into jiu-jitsu. You know, I think it's the one sport that, especially if people fell out of other sports and team sports and stuff, just like, you know yourself, you trained a little bit, there's a massive community in jiu-jitsu.
Big time,
you know,
yeah.
and it's really good for people. But if I pushed all that on people at the start, said like, this is exactly what I do, this is exactly what you have to do, like, I probably wouldn't have any clients.
Yeah.
'Cause
Do most of your clients get into jiu-jitsu?
a lot of them, yeah, will like I gently persuade them to try it, you know, and challenge their thinking, challenge their mindset on it. Like, well, like, what's the worst thing that could actually happen?
Yeah.
You go to a trial class, you don't like it, cool. What's the best thing that could happen? Well, you fall in love with it, you learn a life-changing skill, you're able to protect your fucking family or whatever, God forbid you ever need to, you know. And they're like, yeah, actually, maybe I'd try it once, you know. And you know yourself, even though you mightn't stick at it because life gets in the way or things happen, I've never met anyone that tried jiu-jitsu and said, I fucking hated that.
If I didn't break my collarbone, which was not in any way with what you just described as like what's the worst that can happen, if I had been in a jiu-jitsu gym at the time, it wouldn't have happened. It happened because we were doing it borderline on a concrete floor with thin mats during COVID, and I think it was somebody that didn't take very well to being subbed in front of in front of his mates and did a belly down armbar on me. But if I hadn't got injured, and it's not like a inverted commas scared to go back to it, not in the slightest. I just got out the flow of it, if I'm really honest. I feel like if I did step back on the mats, maybe when Luca's a little bit older, I could totally see myself getting back and being obsessed with it as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the other thing. It's something that you can step back on the mats when you're older, and you know yourself. There's guys training who are like 50, 60, you know, because the better you get, the kind of less effort you have to put in. You don't have to go hard. It becomes more a technical thing. You're getting more skillful, and you kind of go as hard as you want to go.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a sport that you can continue, and it's never really too late to start. You know, like I've clients start, like even female clients. Had one just last week. She's in her 40s and she's went to her first jiu-jitsu class, and then her sister, who's also my client, is 54, and she went to her first jiu-jitsu class.
That's brilliant.
You know, like, which is class because it's not something that's seen. You know, it's seen as a bit of a male-dominated sport now. Thankfully, it's becoming way more popular for females, and there's, you know, ladies-only classes and stuff, which is great. But for a lady of that age to be going and doing her first class, like, you wouldn't be going starting your first soccer match or, you know, or whatever at that age, you know. So it's class,
No, that's brilliant. Well, I want to take it in a little bit of a different direction and like speak less to like the marketing side and more about like you, your lifestyle, your business, how everything intertwines together. Because the reason that I really wanted to speak to you on the podcast is, and I don't like these episodes being like, hey, it's just a chat about how good my program is. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of awkward when you see them come up. I'd rather almost avoid it. Just say that the program's really good. That's why you've been around a few years, right? But instead, the thing right from the start with you that I was really interested in, I know we'd already been working together for a year or so at this point, or maybe even a year and a half or more. But when we were in Amsterdam and you were talking about like investment properties and things like that as well, and like I just like got so much more depth about like how you like look at the world and think about the world. So break down, you're a really, really hard worker, right? You put the hours in, you get shit done, you run a great business. You're also so dedicated to jiu-jitsu and like your own like physical health as well. You do morning routines, you do ice baths and all of those things. Investments, you've got so many things going on. Like try and like paint a little bit of a picture that's even more accurate than what I just said as to like how are you looking at like what are your weeks like, your months like, your years like, what are you looking to achieve here?
like honestly, for me, it's something that I kind of only realised later in life, that like I was actually riddled with ADHD, and a lot of things made sense when I put that together. I'm just obsessed with progress, whatever that is in. You know, I like, my biggest downfall has been bored. You know, that was one of the things that led me down a bad path with drinking and stuff. Was kind of just being like still in life. And it's something I'm big with clients. Like, our motto is kind of like, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Because the day you stop making progress, like, you will be fucked. You know, so a lot of people would say, oh look, I want to, and like I said this myself in the past, look, I want to get a few properties and then I'll retire when I'm like 45. And like, will I fuck? I'd be a nightmare to be around if I was doing that. You know, for me, it's about progress, and that's why I love jiu-jitsu, because you're constantly progressing. You never feel like you're good enough, or that you know you've completed it. It's just like constantly progressing. The business is the same. You know, like, the aim is it's not even about revenue. It's about client numbers.
You're, out of everybody I've spoken to, like, when you say it, I believe it more than anybody else. Because when you didn't need to say it in private, you said it to me.
Yeah.
And we were there to talk about marketing, business, next client, all of that jazz. And you said something about bringing on 8 clients off the back of something that we did, whatever it was. And you went, at the end of the day, the most important thing, that's 8 lives that I'm going to get to change. And a lot of people will say it when there's a camera or whatever it is, but not many people will say it in private when nobody's there to listen.
Yeah, no,
So
100%.
I love that from you.
Like the aim is to have, you know, I actually just done my 3-year vision. We had an event with Paul last week, and we're working out that, and it was 500 clients. Like, I want to have a business that has 500 active clients, you know, so that any given time we're changing 500 lives.
Love that.
For me, that, and just kind of to be known as the guy is like he changed the fitness industry. He said, you have to fix your head first. And now that's what everyone is doing. Like, that's what I want it to be in a few years.
Could you see yourself doing like qualifications and stuff?
Yeah, so I want to launch something that is coaching coaches, but not really on like a mentorship or business side of it. Just coach how to be a fucking good coach. You know, like how to actually do what I'm doing and be the opposite of what the industry has been. Like, perfect. I took on a client last week, and he'd been with a coach, and he'd lost a bit of weight and stuff, and the coach wanted him to do a photo shoot, and the coach wanted him to start taking clean.
Oh boy.
And this guy is just a fucking father or two, like, and he's like, he's like, I was going to do it, and I was like, but I didn't know why was I going to do that, you know? And like, I'm really against photo shoots. I think it's an unhealthy focus. I don't think there's any benefit to come out of it. I've ended up with so many clients that I'm picking up the pieces, bad relationship with food, just binge back. I actually got a coach in my program at the moment, as a client. Like, he is a coach, done a photo shoot, and has been just on and off binging on food for the last 1.5 years since. And he's a guy who's highly educated. Like, he is a coach, he knows better, and that's the damage it's done to him. So yeah, like, I'm really against that, and I just kind of want to change the industry. And I suppose, yeah, going back to like the progress, it's progress in business, it's progress in jiu-jitsu, it's progress in life. Like, just last week, I kind of took it a bit easy on work because I was building a sauna back home. You know, and a lot of lads said, like, why don't you just go buy one? Like, you have the money, you could have just bought one. But it's like, it wasn't really about that. It's about like the fact I'm able to build a sauna. You know, and again, that's something I share on my social media. People are relating to it. People are like, oh, this guy can fucking build stuff. I'm a tradesman. I'll let him coach me.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that. And so, right now, it feels like you have a few different things that you've almost got like these buckets where you can feel progress in different things, which is great. Do you see yourself at that 45-year mark though, or 50 or 55 or 60? Do you see the time allocation changing? As in, like, if you still want to be coaching at 45, for instance, could you see yourself being like, okay, well, now that it's certainly not for the finances any longer. I mean, the finances are great. Who doesn't want more money than less money? But at the same time, everything's taken care of and is good. I can retire and lifestyle wouldn't change. Could you see yourself pulling back or changing the dynamic of how you coach in that moment so that you could, like, for instance, because progress is a thing, jiu-jitsu, If you're like,
Yeah.
I just want to be a black belt and I want to compete in black belt competitions and I want to train twice a day on the mats.
Yeah,
like, do you see yourself?
100%. Look, I mean, there's no point in denying it. Like, you can't build a successful business without working hard at some point. Like, you can't be doing it forever. But at some point, you do have to kind of eat shit a little bit. Like, you have to work hard. You have to get there. Definitely in the future, like, I would like to be able to keep growing while working less, so that I can put more time into, you know, jiu-jitsu and the other things. And kind of actually even just last week building the sauna hit home that I hadn't done that like that in a while. You know, over the years I've converted a few camper vans and stuff, and it's kind of like, yeah, you know what, I'd like to do that again. Like, I'd like to convert another camper van and have a little bit more of that kind of stuff in my life. That it is work, but for me it's actually kind of enjoyment as well.
Do you think you'll, like, moving forward, having that realization, always have a project on the go moving forward?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, you finish one and then it's like, what's the next project? And then as long as it takes is as long as it takes, but you're always going to be doing something like creative and crafty and that type of thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
For me, that's fulfilling. Like, you know, it's wholesome. Even in the future, like, I'd love to have a gym chain as well, where the focus is on, it's for normal people. Like, in the marketing would literally be like, you know, no fucking grunting, no tops off, no selfies, no pictures of your fucking arse in the mirror. You know, it's just like, it's really relatable for, because I never understood it. Like, a lot of these gyms, they get in, you know, your Instagram models and stuff to do their, they're making videos for advertising personal training sessions. And the person in it is like fucking in unbelievable shape. Like, that would be far more relatable if you bring in someone who is actually 4 stone overweight and show that, yeah, this is a place where you can be comfortable. Like,
Yeah. See, I've said that to fitness coaches so many times about, if you put somebody in a testimonial video who is not in like extreme shape, but like they look like a normal person who clearly has been making progress, and get them to talk about where they were previously, there is like, I don't think there's that many people in the world who would not rather be in better shape than they are currently, whether they're somebody who steps on stage or somebody who's on the polar opposite end of it. Most people, if asked the question and answered honestly, would say, I would rather be in better shape than I am today, right? Whatever that means. And some people have made the conscious trade-off as to like, well, this is how far I'm really going to get based upon the time I can allocate to the job, da-da-da-da. But there is about like 90% of the market who want to progress but feel too intimidated by what is put in front of them to ever reach out.
100%. Like, I personally think having a before and after picture of someone in their fucking kitchen and then the after picture is like a professional photo shoot, I think that's actually really off-putting for the majority of people. Because when I have, maybe it's just my market, but like when I have calls, obviously we go through kind of the wheel of life and we're looking at all areas and we're like, look, obviously this is about much more than just the physical. But let's get an idea of where you want to be physically and let's work backwards from there. And I have a body composition chart and I say like, look, where are you on this now at the moment? And they're like, oh, you know, maybe about 30-35%. Because I like to take the focus off the weighing scales, especially for females, because it's not that healthy. And then I'm like, look, where do you want to be? And let's say for like males, you know, the top best picture is 8% body fat. Nobody ever says that. Like, not one. They all say, oh, geez, if I was maybe 15% or maybe a little less even, I'd be fucking delighted, man.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not to say they mightn't eventually get down to 10 or 8%, but to push that as the goal at the start, oh, we have to really extreme things to get here, I think it's actually a negative. I think it's actually putting them off, you know, and that's based on, I've done hundreds and hundreds of calls. Literally not one person has ever said, I want to be that 8% body fat.
Yeah. What do you feel then is the key motivator you were talking about? Give people, you know, what they want, and well, sell them what they want, give them what they need on the other side, in relation to some of the back end stuff, but like meditation, journaling, etc. But given that you do help people with body transformation as well as everything else, and most of your testimonials are so heavily based upon like what it's helped them do with their physical mind and what that's allowed them to do in life and achievements and things like that, what's the main thing that they say that they're coming to you for? Like when they apply, when they speak to you on the call, Is it like, no, Jason, 100%, you're totally right. I need to sort this out, this out, this out, this out, and this out. But the first thing for me is like, I need to lose some weight. Or is it the other way around where they're like, actually, alcohol, X, Y, Z, that stuff?
It's more the other way now, I think, because I've leaned into more, follow what I believe in, like it is the head we have to fix first. So a lot of people that come to me, not all, but a lot of them are, overweight or want to lose a bit of fat. But they've kind of realised it's not about a fucking meal plan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There's something else amiss here. A lot of them are struggling with their mental health, some form of anxiety or depression. A lot of them are struggling with abusing something, whether it's alcohol. Like cocaine's a massive problem now. It's everywhere. But again, none of them are really going out and looking for the bag or didn't take their first bag sober. So alcohol is kind of behind a lot of it. So if we create that life that doesn't really need escaping from, if we create a life that doesn't need alcohol, they're probably not going to be at home, doing a bit of breath work or a bit of yoga and say, geez, you know what, I'll get a bag in there now. It just doesn't really work like that,
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people now have, I suppose, based on the content, yes, they have a physical problem, most of them, but they've realised, I've been trying to solve this for years.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the head I need to fix first and then the physical will solve. And, like, being honest, as a coach, like, sometimes I almost feel like I'm fucking cheating a little bit in that, like, the physical side of it just comes. And sometimes I feel like, geez, am I even putting in enough work here, like, with them on the physical side,
Yeah.
Because they're kind of just going away and doing it.
Yeah.
And we're not really strictly, we're not giving them meal plans, right? And we're not strictly tracking their food, we're teaching them how to fill the voids in their life that they were filling with food. And then, obviously we educate them on, look, we can track food or we can do portion control and stuff like that. And I have a really good nutritionist, Matty, that works with me as well. And he's very aligned on that approach, that it doesn't have to be calorie tracking. And it's just like the results kind of just come then, and they kind of just come out of nowhere. And you're like, geez, I didn't even realise he was doing as much on the nutrition front,
Yeah.
But just because he wasn't tracking or whatever, because he's making better choices, especially in the bad times.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really the key. It's easy, like, and one thing I'm big on with clients is like, look, if you're not going to track everything, just track your fucking so-called like bad food.
Mm.
And if your chocolate and your crisps and your ice cream is adding up to 700-800 calories a day, that's not a snack, like, that's a substantial meal.
Mm.
And it's a bit of a problem. If you track only your bad food and it's 200 or 300 calories, that's not a problem. Like,
That's actually such a smart way to do it. I haven't heard anybody mention that
it's
before.
like saying, oh, like, I don't really have enough money. And you're saying, well, like, are you tracking your finances? And you're like, no, I'm not really willing to do that. Okay, fair enough, but like, can you at least track the stuff you buy that you don't need? And if you've done that, your finances would improve, like.
Yeah.
And it's the same with food. If you track the stuff that wasn't really to fuel you, that was just for a bit of pleasure, like, and keep it within 200, 300, 400 calories, depending on your calorie allowance, like, you're going to be okay, like.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, that's absolutely class. And so let's take it back to your own goals. Like, what are you foreseeing in like 5 years' time? Like, is it the same allocation of like business, but doing some more with coaches as well? And then jiu-jitsu will still be a constant, or is there anything that you're like, I really want to get back into this or do this, or is there anything with like investments and things of that nature that you've got your eye on?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll always continue investing, like that's something I actually just enjoy, Property I do enjoy. Kind of investing money into other things at the moment, but possibly we'll get some more property in the future as well. One thing that I probably will take a lot of enjoyment out of is actually building my own house as well. I suppose I've taken a bit of a different approach than most people that, like, I don't really care about not having my permanent home at 33 years of age. For me, investments is more important right now.
Yeah.
And that gives me the freedom to, I suppose, build my dream home at some point when I want. Not even really sure where that'll be or like where I'm going to end up settled yet. But I'm cool with that. I think, like, in terms of getting back into anything, probably just like a bit more, like I said, of the projects, the building, maybe converting another camper van, you know, like the last camper van I converted, I sold when I bought my first investment property. So I definitely would like to build another one of them again. But that'd be, yeah, other than that, like, I live a pretty simple life, but it's really wholesome, you know. Love my business, love what I do. Train jiu-jitsu, absolutely love it. Love my coffee, love heading, like, researching new little cafes and stuff like that. Saunas, sea dips, that kind of stuff. Like I said, I built a sauna there last week. Possibly will open that as a bit of a business as well, because it's built to the quality of, like, people are said to me already, why would you not open that, like, you know? And I think I will give something back to, so I built at my parents' home place. We have a bit of extra land and stuff there. I think it will give something back to the community, you know, so like a social thing for people to do and go. I live in rural Ireland, so there's not really much left there. The pub closed, the shop closed, you know. So just, I think actually something like that would be cool to give people some place to go. And I probably at some point would put a bit of a really low price kind of self-managed gym there as well, just for local people to use. It wouldn't really be about money.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're kind of things that I'd love to do in the future.
Well, man, you've got your heart in the right place, and just like I said, it always stuck with me what you said, but you chose not to say it to me in front of people. You said it in private to me about how you look at your clients and changing the lives of the people. And then what you just shared there, like, I hope for you more than anything. I know we focus on business, but more than your business growth, more than anything else, I really hope you get to do that in your local community. I hope that's the
100%. Well, I mean, look, if, like, I always kind of look at, like, yes, you have to kind of have revenue goals and stuff as well, but I look at the client numbers, because if you do that and you do a good job, like, the revenue is just going to come. Like, it's kind of impossible not to, you know. And, like, could set a goal for, like, oh yeah, need to hit 7 figures. But, like, if I set a goal of 350 clients over the year, like, whether that's collected or contracted, like, that's 7 figures. You know, and it doesn't really matter if I have to collect 7 figures up front. It doesn't really matter to me, because I'm confident enough in my service that people will stay anyway.
Yeah.
And I collect a bit more cash if they take a split payment option, you know. And I suppose just going back to that note, because it is something that you definitely helped me with, to be able to sell in various different ways, like upfront, split payment options, monthly options. And for December now, which is a month where I know it won't be quiet because we have tactics and we push hard in December, but let's say it was, like made no more sales in December. Like, my monthly recurring is 20k for September, or for December, sorry. And that's come just from changing how I thought about it and saying, yeah, I don't care if someone pays monthly or upfront.
Yeah.
If I can change someone's life, I can change someone's life.
Yeah.
And how I made that decision has now compounded and led to, like, having a nice little monthly recurring without any new sales.
I remember having the discussion with you. Again, I have no idea if this was 2 years ago or 3 years ago or what, but I remember literally just asking you the question so that the mindset shift might change there. I said, are you confident in your service? And you used the same term that you used on this podcast. You said it's world class. And I was like, well, people are going to stay then, aren't they?
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the split payments.
Yeah, and look, will you have weird people that do weird shit sometimes? Of course. Yeah, like, you'll have people that'll block their card and block you on social media rather than just saying,
yeah,
oh, I can't connect. But that is not someone who would have ever paid up front for the 12 months. Anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, it's nothing to lose. And, like, if they stayed for 1 month, right, well, I made a couple of hundred and covered ad spend or whatever. You know, like, to me, it's a no-brainer. And I honestly believe in some other mentorships and stuff that was in the past that it was kind of just, it was pushed to make them look good.
Yeah.
Oh, you've collected all this cash up front and now we can share that and say, oh, look at all the cash this guy collected. But, like, to me, it really doesn't matter.
We've got somebody that you'll have seen her in Systems of Scale, joined a month and a half ago. Had been in a couple of mentorships, one of which you'd been in before as well. And I said to her about like split payments being an option, like what's your downsells? And she was like, well, everything's always been pushed on me to do upfront. I was like, but it's not the difference between 1,200 and 200. It's the difference between a yes or a no.
Yeah.
And so the person might literally never work with you because you didn't have that flexibility in the first place, but they might actually be a 3-year long client with you that's worth 3,600.
100%. Really good example. Probably one client that came to me, he's just actually after finishing up, I think he was there 2.5 years. He joined on a monthly.
Yeah.
So he paid me for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
You know, true is if he had paid for 1 year up front, he mightn't have actually wanted to go on to monthly then. He might have said, oh, I've had enough. You know. But because it was monthly, he's fucking flying it. He's really enjoying it. He just said there, and his wife joined me. His cousin joined me. 2 of his friends joined. Say 3 of his friends joined me. He's probably brought me 10, 15 grand
Yeah.
of revenue.
Yeah.
That would have never happened if I didn't take him on a monthly.
Yeah. That is such a good point. And I've said this so many times to people, who's your most valuable client? And people always like go into their Stripe and see how much somebody's paid them. It's like, no, it's the person that referred the most people to you. That's your most valuable client. And that guy sounds like,
100%,
massively valuable. And had you only gone for the pay in full, he wouldn't have been a client, you wouldn't have got the other 7 on board.
Wouldn't have been a client. His wife wouldn't have become a client who was like, they've completely transformed their, like they probably wouldn't be together anymore if they both of them hadn't joined the program. The relationship wasn't great, you know. Probably would have meant kids growing up in a broken family, you know. Like that's the impact it's actually had. So aside from obviously the money and all the rest, like it's given me the opportunity to do that, and he's given me like a world-class video testimony.
Yeah.
That I can like, and has been something I've used to get other people in a similar situation to him who are maybe doubtful over the line.
Yeah.
Saying, look, have a look at this guy. He's in a very similar situation. No pressure, but watch this. If you can relate, like I can probably help you as well.
In terms of what that like this is something like key to end on, because you've shared like an absolute golden nugget for everybody, is if you are obsessed with paying, and by the way, I love paying fools are great, but if you're obsessed with paying fools, you're not willing to be flexible. Jason literally does 30-day offers where people come in 30 days. There's not a second month guaranteed there, but gets about 70 or 80% of them to continue on the other side of 30 days as well. That's like level of confidence in your service. But if you use that guy as an example, he's referred 7 people, you have a cash number there. But if you didn't have the testimonial, who else wouldn't have joined?
Yeah, it's like, honestly, I probably sent that video to like, I don't know, 50 people. Do you know, like it was a really, because he actually said in the testimony, he said, I needed to lose a bit of weight. That's why I joined. I didn't realize I needed as much work on my mindset, you know. And that was what was really powerful about that video. He was someone who was kind of just sold what he needed or thought he needed, but it was the complete opposite when he came in. You know, he didn't realize all that he actually needed and that he had to work on. And because obviously, like his wife joined because she seen such a change in him. Do you know? His friend joined because he seen a change.
Yeah.
Do you know? But he didn't go and, like, I didn't say to him, look, if you go and round people up to join now and be like some kind of pyramid scheme, like, it wasn't how it was. Like, they actually came and asked him, like, what are you doing? Like, you've changed so much, like.
Yeah.
And then he's obviously referred them to me. So, yeah, I think taking that monthly or split, whatever, just to get people started. And if you're not willing to do that, I would say you have to look at yourself and say, are you confident in your service? You know,
100%.
Because of course some people will drop off, but if you're not willing to do that, probably means you need to lock people in with that up front, you know, for them to stay there. And that's not, that should not be the reason that they stay there.
And then you see the mentorships that are now moving to like 24-month contracts, which as soon as I heard that is madness. That is just like and coaches doing it a lot as well, like outside of business coaching. But when I heard 24-month contracts are coming in, and I'm like, this is absolute madness. People have no confidence that people would stay when they have to make a second decision here.
Yeah, 100%. And look, the other side is by doing that, like my close rate like I'd say on average over the last 3 months, it's roughly around 70%.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty good on calls at this point. I've invested in helping sales calls and stuff as well, but like that wouldn't be 70% if I was just like paying full or nothing.
No,
You
no
know.
way.
And like I said, the cash contracted when someone takes a split is actually worth slightly more. So
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to sit down and look at all the data. But I know myself, it's 100%. I'm coming out of a better long term from being willing to do that on the call, because people don't come back to you generally. You know, if you can just do what's needed, take 1 month to get them over the line. And I often say to people, look, it works out a bit cheaper to pay up front. Let's get started. Let's do a month. And if you want to pay me the balance next month, cool. Save yourself a few hundred quid. And like people have done that.
Yeah.
You know, people have done a month and then paid me up the balance of the year.
It's that old thing of like, it's anchoring in a way, but it's like, hey, this thing's here, it's way more expensive, but look, take the pressure off yourself, do this. And the sheer fact that you were able to lay it out that way probably get some people over the line that actually wouldn't have even done a pay in full had you just, a split pay, had you just said this or this. Like literally being like, this is available to you, but let's take the pressure off yourself. Let's just focus on month one, and then it's your choice from there.
I think it was something, I think you might have said it. It was like, people are just different. Some people will, you know, when you sign up for anything, like if it's Typeform or if it's a subscription service like Netflix or whatever, like there's always an option like this much per month if you're paying per the year, and it's this much then if you pay monthly. Some people will always just pay the monthly. No matter if it's more expensive, whatever, that's just what they do. It's how they do things. Other people like will pay for nothing on a monthly basis. They want to pay everything up front.
Yeah.
You know, and there's just different types of people.
Yeah.
I think you have to accommodate them both.
Yeah,
You know.
100%. Well, to wrap things up, man, people are going to be shocked by this given that you're clearly just such a great human being, but where can people find your offensive content?
So Instagram the main place. So Koach with a K, Koach _Jayo, Koach Jayo.
Excellent. And anything you want them to look at personally? Do you have any, like the Wheel of Life, for instance?
Yes, there's a couple of things, links in my bio there that'll be useful. There's probably one video that's pinned there on my reels with just like my story in relation to alcohol and mental health. It's probably something a lot of people can relate to. So, if anyone is looking and struggling with either of those things, just have a look at those.
Yeah. And there's obviously going to be a lot of like online coaches and things watching as well. So with what Jace said there about potentially in the future moving in, helping coaches deliver an exceptional service, and probably many of the different systems that you have in place in your business to run such a great service, definitely send him a DM as well so that he knows that there's interest and that people are interested in this. It'll maybe drive you to get it up and running quicker.
I suppose just if like there will be coaches watching this, like I've 4 coaches at the moment as clients. There's a bit of a thing in the industry is like, oh, coaches shouldn't coach coaches or don't need coaches. Like, I don't agree with that at all. Like I've coaches myself. I coach coaches. Like everyone needs someone in their corner at times. And the 2 coaches that I have in my staff now, they're people that came through my program, you know, as clients. And now they work for me, you know. So if any good coaches need a job, you know where I am.
Brilliant, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.